Started. Okay, so we are on. Like I said, welcome to Old Union 101. This is just a brief overview, and I'll try to cover all the concepts, all the different topics, and then at any point, if you guys have questions, raise your hand, let me know. If I'm going through something too fast, you want more clarification, and we can definitely do that as well. We'll just do a brief introduction on each of us. I'm Mr. Fike. This is 5th year on the campus, 4th year as principal. My first year on the campus, I was the assistant principal. Before that, I was curriculum coordinator for the district. I was an assistant principal in Coppell, and then I started out teaching high school, went down to elementary, did middle school, so I joke around with everyone. I say I'm kind of like a mutt. I've done a little of everything from teaching, 18-year-olds all the way down to the elementary age. Elementary was definitely my favorite. Loved high school, but when I got my administrative degree, I said I do not want to be a high school principal. Too many events, activities, and they get into too much trouble. So our kids, I like the innocent kids and where they're at. So that's a brief description of me. I have 3 kids. My oldest is a 6th grader at Eubanks. I have a 3rd grader here. Those are both boys. And then when the 3rd grader goes to 5th grade, I have a little 3.5-year-old daughter that would be a kindergartner. So if it plays out, there will be a Fike at Old Union for quite a while. So a long line of Fikes. And then this is Mrs. Walker.
I'm Lisa Walker. I'm the assistant principal. This is my 4th year here at Old Union.
I should move over so they can see you.
Oh, no. And so it's my 4th year at Old Union. I moved up here a few years ago from Austin, where I was an assistant principal in Pflugerville. I have a 1st grader this year. We made it through kindergarten, so that's a good thing. 1st grader, and then I have a little girl that'll start kindergarten next year. But I will say, I always say this, but when you walk into Old Union, you just get this feeling of family and a sense of belonging. And I was hired 3 days before school started 4 years ago, and the minute I walked in, I felt like this is where I belong. This is the greatest school ever. So welcome, and we're glad you're here.
What about Miss Stolly? Should I move over, get you on camera?
My name is Mrs. Stolly, and I'm the school counselor. This is my 6th year here, so I've got y'all beat.
Mm-hmm.
My 27th year in education. I was a school teacher prior to being a counselor. This was my first counselor position, so I have been very blessed. It's a kind community. It's a great place to be, and welcome to all of you.
Okay. I know you've probably gotten a handout more than once on just important dates at Old Union, so some of just the key ones, especially coming up here in the near future, I thought we'd just touch on what some of those are. Curriculum night is tonight, so if you have a 3rd or 4th grader, that would be from 5 to 6. For K-1-2, it's 6:15 to 7:15. The teachers just give a brief overview on what to expect, whether it's homework, what they do, their typical day, what that looks like, and answer questions that you guys have. The next big event is the Old Union Family Picnic. We've had that ever since I've been here, but it seems to get bigger and better each year. Yes, I will. Yes, I was going to plug In-N-Out Burger. In the past, we've had like carnival-type food, which it was popular, but I think we have a much better thing this year. In-N-Out, the big In-N-Out truck is coming where they are going to cook the hamburgers on site. But the catch with that is you have to purchase a $5 ticket before the event. They are not going to take money at the event, so today they're selling them tonight at curriculum night, and we will have some in the office where you can come by. $5 gets you a hamburger, cheeseburger, or grilled cheese sandwich, however you wish to order it, whatever toppings and stuff that In-N-Out does, chips and a drink. So it seems like it's a pretty good price. And so that will be from 5 to 6, but the event will be 4:30 to 7. And we will have bounce houses, lots of stuff. There's opportunities to sign up for a lot of the other stuff. There's grade level parties. Each grade level has a set party that they do, so you'll get to register for that. Dragon Dash, you're going to hear more about that, the big event that we have, and that's our big fall fundraiser. We had Camp Gladiator last year for the first year. The kids loved it, and we'll talk more about that. COGAT ITBS testing, this is for 2nd and 4th graders in the district. Every 2nd and 4th grader does COGAT and ITBS. COGAT is Cognitive Ability Test. It's not IQ, but it's pretty close. And if you've been in other districts, people do them at different grade levels. And really what we do with that is it helps with gifted and talented placement. For our fourth graders, when they go to fifth, it helps with the math placement when they go to fifth. There are 3 levels of math. I was the math coordinator before I came here, so afterwards, if you have a kid there, or you have a fourth grader, and you're like, I want to know more about the 3 levels, I can definitely meet with you and talk with you about that. ITBS is an achievement test. It's the Iowa Test of Basic Skills. Both have been around for a long time. In fact, some of you probably took the Iowa test during your childhood. And both give us good results and data that we definitely use. Dragon Dash is the next event you can see, October 23rd. Again, it's a great event where the kids go out and have a fun day out on the fields. And again, it's the big fundraiser. We tie in online auction. There's teacher wish lists that go with it. And I will let PTO share that a little bit more. Red Ribbon Week is the following week, and that's Miss Stolley's big event where we have a different theme each day. The kids love dressing up, going with that. She's already been brainstorming what she's going to do there. Family Science Night. This will be the 3rd year we have Family Science Night, and really that whole week we have a science sale that goes on in the science lab. Last year we had science fair projects. It was open K4. There were different topics that they could do their research on, and then we had the boards presented in here. So they had a day to share with the students in the building and then also with the parents, and they were recognized for their work on that. In the cafeteria, we have lots of hands-on science experiments they do, and then in the past we were able to get the Fort Worth Astrological Society, I believe, with all their high-powered telescopes, and they're on our playground as long as it's not too cloudy, and the kids get to explore with those. Kids Rule the School and holiday parties, that is December 17th, 18th. Kids Rule the School, again, that will be one of the sign-ups during Dragon Dash. If your kid can be the teacher of the day for their teacher. It's a big event. The kids love it, and we can talk more about that. So that's kind of some of the big stuff this fall. Ways to interact with myself and Ms. Walker. We kind of listed some. We have cafe celebrations, and we do that different ways. We each 6 weeks, we recognize in each grade level the class that had the best behavior. The teachers each week, they go through the end of the week, and it might be Miss Lugenbiel this week in kindergarten. The next week, let's say it's Miss Hill's class. It's Miss Hill's again. If that class is the winning class, we normally do 30 minutes where we bring them up on the stage. It's games on the stage. The kids love it. It used to be more board games. Now it's a lot more iPads and iPhones and iPods that they bring up, but we still do have the games, the board games that we play with them. Birthday lunches on the stage. We've done that at the end of the month for birthday month, and we're going to try to change it up a little bit this year, but I already had some kids telling me it's my birthday month and I'm looking forward to having birthday lunch on the stage. So we were trying to incorporate some games, and we have some games that are math games and games that they'll enjoy, but trying to do something different. So we will do something with birthday lunches and games on the stage. Party with the principal, that is, like we talked about briefly, the grade level events. There's a party with the principal, which is really our staff. It's Miss Stolley, Miss Walker, and we're going to see if Officer Galloway will join us. He joined us 2 years ago. And last year we did laser tag off-site, and it was a big hit, and I think we're going to do that again, and then also bring the party back here afterwards and have pizza and ice cream and have the gym. So it's a fun night for the kids that participate with that. Classroom observations, we're in and out of the rooms all the time, whether it's a 2-minute observation. We have a 2-minute observation check we do, which is just a quick kind of a curriculum check. Where are we at? What's taking place in the classroom? It's, what student engagement, what does that look like? Teacher instruction, what does that look like? And then we also do 15-minute observations or 45-minute formal observations. So every teacher either has a 45-minute or 2:15 with meetings before and after. Book clubs, we've had them the last 2 or 3 years, and that was a grant that we received where Ms. Walker has done 3rd and 4th grade girls book clubs, and this takes place during lunch where there's a set book and each of the girls get a book. I have 3rd and 4th grade boys, and they read the book, they come, they bring their lunch in, hopefully not on taco days because then it ends up lots of meat and cheese all over our floor, but Yeah, or the peas. Broccoli day, that's tough in a small room. But that's fun, and that's something we do. A lot of the teachers have Dragon Dollars, and a lot of the kids pay to have lunch, and that's always fun. It starts with one kid, and you end up having 8 kids sitting at the little table we have in our offices having lunch. And then something that was started last year, the kids get little tickets. Just anyone can give them a ticket. They fill out their name. There's a bucket for each grade level, and every Friday we draw 4 per grade level. We announce it on the video announcements. And then at the end of the month, so after 4 weeks, there will be 16 kindergartners, 16 first. It's a different theme each year. One week it's just a popsicle party, the last 20 minutes out on the playground. Some of the other parties we did games on stage.
Cookie decorating at Christmas time, things like that.
Yeah, so we had like sugar cookies and lots of stuff that they could decorate and take home. We didn't let them eat it till after end of the day, so the teachers, that was their request. And then counselor role, you want to talk briefly on?
Just to let you know, I go in the classrooms once a month and I'll do a classroom guidance about promoting good character, talking about how to be an upstander, how to help other kids. I do lunch bunch once a week with each grade level right now. A lot of you probably got an invitation. I'm meeting with all of the new the new kids in each grade level. And it's just once a week on the lunch. There's a table on the stage. And we just kind of go up there and just talk about what's going on in their lives and how I can help. Individual counseling, I don't do like actual counseling, but I'm there for kids when they're having a hard day. I'll have a lot of parents email me, this family situation happened last night. Can you go check on my son or daughter? We're always there. The teachers are very compassionate, but I'm there to help as well. Academic support, I do help facilitate some academic concerns to offer interventions to help. We believe in early intervention here in Carroll, so a lot of our children, if they're just kind of emergent readers, we'll kind of get together as a group with parents, teachers, one of us, and see how we can help your child become a better reader. We've got reading care program as well as some different options that we have. We celebrate kindness all the time throughout the day. You might get a good phone call home. Your child might come home with a sticker that says, I was kind today. And then ways that I kind of communicate with y'all is through the constant contact. And there's always a counselor section. And in that counselor section, I kind of let you know which grade level I'm going into to do the character quality lesson or the guidance lesson. So next week, it's already on the constant contact, and it'll be in kindergarten and first grade. And then there'll be like a link that'll go to like just my letter that kind of lets you guys know what we're talking about so you can reinforce it at home.
Okay. And Miss Dolly always does a great job with the kids. They enjoy when she comes into the class. Just some general must-knows. Constant contact, and there is the link, and I know many of you, a lot of the new families, I get an update once a week, and there's 8 to 12 people that are adding, it seems, each week right now. Constant contact is a message that I send out every Sunday, usually between 4:30 and 5, and it always has a PTO news section. It will have a campus and district news section. And like Miss Dolly said, like for next week, she's going to be in kinder and first grade classrooms. So in her corner, it talks about what the topic is, and you can click that lesson, and it'll give in detail kind of bullet points what she's going to share with the kids. To sign up for that, if you are not on Constant Contact, if you just go to the Old Union website, there's on the right side, there's a lot of links. You'll see PTO, you'll see the Facebook link, Twitter link. There's one, it just says... it doesn't say Constant Contact. I think it says Campus Communication. And if you click that, you just give your email address, and you will start receiving those. Twitter is another way that you can follow us, and Facebook. Twitter has how many people following? 250 people following there, and then Twitter, that has jumped up. Oh, Twitter's 250?
Yeah, Facebook's like 360.
Okay. So if you're on Facebook or Twitter, Facebook has always been posted throughout the day and throughout the week. Twitter, we're getting better at that. Actually, Miss Walker's getting better at that. She's in there.
I'm too old for new technology. I'm trying. So if you see pictures tweeted, it's usually me. And I'm trying to pop into classrooms so you can get little snapshots of what your kids are doing at that time too. So it's kind of fun to follow if you follow the Old Union site.
And then one thing, all the teachers, they don't know this yet, but the technology focus next month is everyone signing up for a Twitter account. the district, that's the big push they're wanting to do. And then with that, we're just going to have them tweeting out different stuff that goes on. So it'll just be a little glimpse where you can see, okay, tell me about when you guys were working on this activity. So that's something that's going to be probably a more of a focus and more pushed out. If you follow the district on Twitter, I mean, there's stuff all day coming out. So we're jumping on the bandwagon. If your child's going to be out, just make sure you call the front office. A lot of times parents will notify the teacher. The teachers do a good job at letting us know, but sometimes they get busy and you'll end up getting a phone call from the office saying, "Where's Johnny?" And, you know, a lot of times it's, I notified the teacher. So just if your child is ever out, make sure you just call the front office and let them know. If stuff is ever left at home, that happens quite often, whether it's lunch, it's homework, or it's a binder, you bring it to the front office. There is a drop-off table, and we notify the kids that their lunch or their binder's there, and the kids can come up and get that. As for snacks, each day we just ask that you send a healthy, peanut, tree nut-free snack. All of our classrooms are peanut-free. And the reason for that, even some of the classrooms, if they don't have a child that has that allergy, most of these classrooms do lots of rotations. Whether it's spelling groups, almost every grade level, they have 4 to 5 spelling groups. So if my kid, for instance, my kid's in Miss Lee's class, he might not do an activity in there. He might be moving into Miss Embry's class, or he might be in Miss Arifi's class. So even if his classroom doesn't have that, another room might, and if he had a peanut product, it's just one of those ways we try to steer clear of that. As for students that want to bring a lunch that have peanut products in it, that is fine, that is allowed. What we have in the cafeteria is we have at each table there is peanut-free section, and it's not just for the kids that are peanut-free. They invite friends, and that table is just as filled as the other tables. We just ensure that there is not anyone sitting at that table that is having a peanut butter sandwich or anything with any kind of nut product. If you join your child for lunch, that happens a lot, and we love it. The kids love seeing their parents come and bring them lunch or have lunch with them. The only thing we ask is we have special tables over to the side, and most grade levels say 1 or 2 friends they can invite. So the kids enjoy doing that as well. So sometimes, you know, they sit with their homeroom class, but they might have a friend in another class. So when you guys show up, they might be able to invite someone from another class to sit and have lunch with them. Birthday treats, another thing, a district policy is that it's store-bought. And I think the reason for that is just, again, it's just making sure that everything that we use is peanut or nut-free. And there are some students that have more allergies than that. It could be gluten, it could be egg products. Could be dairy, whatever that is. A lot of times those parents and the students, they kind of have their set snacks, so that way they can participate as well. But if or when you do birthday treats, just make sure store-bought. It seems the most popular is Krispy Kreme, but there are other options as well. And then a lot of times with those treats, you can see parents, a lot of times will bring them, have lunch with their child, and then they go out to the playground with them, help serve the treat, and kind of enjoy that. The other thing, just check your child's backpack each evening. There's stuff. We used to have Wednesday folders that came out every Wednesday. So if a teacher graded an assignment on Thursday, they held on to that for 6 days, and everything came home in bulk on Wednesday. Our thought was to try to go green and have less handouts. We're sending out the constant contact's the main way of communicating. There are still handouts that we put out, and sometimes there is stuff they hold on until Wednesday, but the backpack, it's now more frequent. If there's something that they have graded, they're usually sending it home, whether it's a Friday, a Monday, Tuesday. So just check that each evening. And then always, if you're changing the way the child's going home, we ask that you try to do it before 2 o'clock. I know that's not always possible. There's something that comes up, you're tied up at work, and when you call the office, we're running notes, as fast as we can to the class. But sometimes those phone calls are coming in at 2:35, and we're going as quick as we can before the kid gets on the bus, and it's a different bus they're going on or a different way. I guess before that, so I don't forget, it was family access. One thing, everyone is in family access. If you're unsure how to get into that, that's where you've updated your phone number, your address. We put that in. But the thing with family access is if you have anything that changes how they go home, who can pick them up, you can now log into Family Access. In the past, parents would call and say, my uncle's in town, they're going to pick up my kids. We had to have that in writing. It had to be done that way. Now you can log into your Family Access account. You can add people. You can take people away. You might have an uncle that was on the list and you don't want uncle picking up the kids anymore. Also notify us of that. I mean, it will be in the computer, but we don't get a message every time there's an update. But what we do is we print that every week to see if there's updates. And the teachers do a good job. It's the same teachers on the side that do pickup duty. It's the same teachers on the front. So if they see a car that looks different, we recognize cars before we even see faces. You see the white SUV, you know it's this kid. But sometimes when it's someone that just we aren't sure of, a lot of times we'll ask if they can park, come on in, and just make sure they're on the list if the teacher wasn't notified. That's also if there's medical updates, if there's new allergies, that pops up. Those always red flag where Nurse Sanchez gets a medical alert that Johnny has a change to his medical status. And then we can look at it that way. Volunteer background checks. We're in the third year, the district having a more thorough, detailed background check, which is a good thing. As you come into Old Union, you've probably seen you scan your driver's license at least once, and that's called the Raptor system. And that's one check that we do. So anyone that comes in, you guys have all the name tags, that means you are allowed in the building. But that does, if someone does have a record, it will flag. There might be sometimes there are individuals. We had a maintenance, and he just had a common name, and it popped up, and it said he has a record. So it is flagged. Officer Galloway is notified. I'm notified. We're all notified, and then we're having to check to make sure, is this the actual person? Is it someone different? Sometimes there's parents that have a common name, and it flags them as they are, they have a record, and we have to just check that. That's the first line of defense. The volunteer background check is a little more thorough, and that is for anyone that's going to go on field trips. We have lots of kindergarten moms that are doing the cafeteria helpers. Stuff throughout the day. If you're wanting to be involved and you're wanting to work closer with the kids, the background check is one thing that has to be completed. And we get a list each time. So when there's field trips or there's activities, grade level teachers, they don't have the list. They will just say, here are the 8 people that signed up to volunteer. Then we're given that list, and we just make sure that the individual is checked. We found out anyone from North Carolina, if you have a traffic citation, it flags you. It never tells us what it is. It's the HR department, but they have to check and see, and a lot of times they just got pulled over in North Carolina. So very weird. I don't know why, but we learned that last year. We'll talk just briefly about a lot of the different encores. Your kids go 55 minutes a day, all 5 days, to what we call encore. 2.5 days is PE. 1 to 1.5 days is art and music. So for instance, let's say your child, because Friday's a split. Friday's always half their time is PE, and the other half is going to be either music or art, and it will rotate. So if this week they go to music on Friday half day, the next week will be art. So with this PE, they go the 2.5 times that meets the state required. That's really in Texas, the 1 minute requirement that we have at the elementary is PE minutes. It's 135 minutes a week of physical activity. And I think because of our school size and the way we do our schedule, I think we're the only campus that meets that before recess, where I think some of the others, before they go out and play football or kickball or jump on the equipment, they have to walk laps or run laps for like 5-10 minutes. Then they can go do their recess. So we're fortunate. We're able to meet those minutes, and it works. So they do a variety of activities with PE. There's different units. There's volleyball units. There's a bowling unit. They do lacrosse. Lots of different activities. If you have a 3rd or 4th grader and you're new to Texas, the state came up with, it's called Fitnessgram, and it's sit-ups, push-ups, it's sitting, touching your toes, and they get assessed on that in the spring, and on the last report card, you'll get a report that shows how your kid's doing. It's similar to kind of like the Presidential Fitness Award I remember doing as a child in Florida. So if you're 3rd or 4th, that's what they'll do. And if you do have PE, the one thing we ask is, especially the girls, because a lot of the girls like to wear sandals or flip-flops, just make sure you pack a pair of tennis shoes. So when they do their activity, that way they're not doing an activity where they're running in the gym, and if they have flip-flops or sandals, a lot of times, it's easy to trip. And then if there's a reason that they're injured or ill, all you have to do is send an email to Miss Speck, send it to Nurse Sanchez. A lot of times I'm copied on it as well, and just let us know, and then that way we can come up with a different activity for them. Sometimes it's, they can do extra art, they can do extra music, or sometimes they want to stay in the gym and they want to see the activity and participate a different way. One of the big fundraisers for PE is box tops, the little things that you get on like macaroni and cheese and all. If you collect those and you turn them in, she has a prize bin where you put them in stacks of 10 and the kids get a prize. And then we also do a big box top competition, I think around February, March. And you would know exactly probably how much money that brings in, isn't it? It's
usually between $1,200 and $1,500.
Yeah. So just those little box tops, if you turn those in, that right there, that funds a lot of the equipment that's used and all of that. So,
It's a lot of it to fund field day.
Okay. Music, like we said, that's one of the other activities. They'll go 1 to 1.5 days a week. With the music program, there's a big focus on lots of different stuff that, whether it's the different types of music or the rhythm, melody, the kids love going to music as well. You would think music would be more sit and get or sing, but those kids are active. They're moving. They're doing activities on the Promethean Board. All of our classrooms have the Promethean Board. These are interactive boards where they can write, they can draw. There's clickers where she will do rhythm and they got to move to it, and then they got to select which one's the correct movement with that. And then also each grade level has their own performance. Kindergarten's end of the year performance, their graduation ceremony. First grade always has a different theme that they do. Yeah, and I can't remember what this year. Yeah. Our second graders do a sound museum, which is very cool. They incorporate with science lab and do the science of sound, which is a fun activity that they do. And then third grade does our Veterans Day program each year. And then fourth grade has a few different activities. They always, our holiday party, they kind of lead the holiday songs in December. They do an end-of-the-year recorder concert, and then also fourth graders have the opportunity to join choir. Each year we have about 100 fourth graders, and I would say probably 60 of the kids, 60 of the 100, join choir. And they meet Friday mornings before school. They go and they perform. They do the tree lighting ceremony in Town Square each year. They've done other performances in Town Square. They always go to a nursing home and do a performance. So that's an option for if you have a fourth grader. Art is the third and final encore class that they go to. And similar to all the others, it's a lot of the history of art, it's the types of artists, and you've seen probably throughout the hallways, the artwork is displayed everywhere. We have artwork in every hallway. Ms. Bunch does a great job getting that artwork out. In fact, the kids that were third grade last year, fourth grade, their artwork, the Zoe's Kitchen in Southlake, if you've seen all the artwork on the wall, every piece of artwork they sell is from Old Union. So an email will be going out to the fourth grade parents saying if their kid was here last year, their art will be there on display, and there's the opportunity to purchase that. And that's another, Zoe's works with Ms. Bunch and does a kickback on that to help fund a lot of that. She does have after-school workshops, and those flyers are getting ready to come out, and a lot of kids sign up and do that, so it's a lot of fun activities that she has there. Science lab. This used to be part of that rotation, and we took that out. Again, I think we're fortunate with our class size. We're able to do a little, we have more flexibility than a lot of the other campuses. So what we do is instead of it being part of the rotation, the science lab has a set day. Kindergarten is on Monday. So if you have a kindergartner Monday, they're going to go for 1 hour. They will be in the science lab, and what Ms. Schneider does is she works with the grade levels, and let's say they're studying rocks. She will take that. There will be an activity done in the lab, and it's all hands-on where the kids are diving in, getting dirty. Ms. Walker had to cover class one time and had to make ice cream with...
Yes, and again, for old people, this was challenging because you had to shake the bag for like an hour. And so I left there, my hair was all frazzled, I was sweating, but it was so fun. The kids got it was a really neat experience.
Yeah, so the kids really like science lab, and again, science is taking place in the classroom. This is just an extension, and she works well with the teachers on that. Star Lab is also a very popular thing that we do. It is a mobile planetarium. It's a big inflatable dome, and we will try to get that here for Science Night so you can see how it works as well. But the kids go into it, and it's a planetarium where they get to learn all the different constellations, and there's a different focus at each grade level. And the kids remember it. My sixth grader will tell me stuff that he learned while he was here. Library, I see Mr. McCoy sitting back there. Mr. McCoy's new to us this year, but I know. So I might spiel, and you're like, am I doing this? So, no, but Mr. McCoy, he grew up Southlake, K-12 through the district.
None of this was here. All of your homes are pasture.
Yeah, so he's been at Johnson Elementary, and the most recent job, Carroll Middle. He was a theater arts teacher, and when this position became available, and someone even just said, well, what about Chad McCoy? It was the instant we knew we had to get Mr. McCoy here. So the kids that have been here, you've probably heard different rave reviews about being in here. You know, I think some people have the belief that the library needs to be quiet. I don't think that should be the case, and he's not like that as well. So it's the kids are in here, and they're checking out books, and they're going to love having him. But just some of the stuff is the kids, some have set schedules where they come in each week. The older grades is more flexible scheduling. Do you just catch me if I'm wrong on anything? Library books, they're checking them out. Anything you want to?
We're going to do book fair. Normally she does book fair in September, and I think that right now you're kind of tapped out by writing checks, especially if you have an older group in athletics or field team or all that. So we're going to do it to November when they buy some books for stocking and that sort of stuff. And we're going to have veterans the week of Veterans Day, so you'll be in the building, so they'll break them down and say, it's all the psychology of the mind.
Yeah. Birthday books is another popular item. I don't know if you know about birthday books, but for $16, yeah. So we do a book, and they will have their photo in there and their name. So a lot of times kids will check out and they're like, oh, that's my next door neighbor that's, went here years before. So that's just another thing that a lot of the kids like to do. A lot of the databases are all online where you can go through there. And Mr. McCoy has his own Facebook page. So we have our Old Union Facebook page, and then there's a link in Constant Contact. Under all the grade level links, there's one that says Library Facebook.
And we're also going to do the clubs, like we're going to start with third grade, and like we'll meet at Milwaukee Joe's, and we have ice cream, and we walk through Times Square, and we talk about the book, and then I'll end up at Barnes & Noble where you'll meet us. So we'll do some outside stuff. Fourth grade, we're going to do, they don't know this yet, but we're going to do like a toddler book time, and fourth graders are going to be in charge of it. So it's always an interesting take when they're in charge. I mean, I'll be in here before fourth grader. But there's a lot of things like that we're going to do this year that a lot of fun.
Great. Gifted and talented, or if you're new to the area, you sometimes hear us saying Quest, and a lot of people are like, what is Quest? Quest is our Gifted and Talented program. Right now, referrals are out there, so if you have a 1st through 4th grade student that is not in the Quest program, there is a form online that you can fill out. It's just a one-page form. And like we talked about, if you have a 2nd or 4th grader, they're going to take the test, so you can refer them, but they are going to be screened just like every other 2nd and 4th grader. Those that are in 1st or 3rd, that's the test that they'll be given. They'll be taking COGAT and ITBS, and based on those skills, based on the scores, kids qualify. And if they're in Quest, it's some grade levels are 2 hours a week. Some of the younger grade levels go an hour to an hour and a half. And then it just depends the grade. And then what we're doing different this year is we've built it into our intervention block, and I'll talk a little bit more about that here a little later in the presentation. But with the intervention block, if you're Quest, if you're speech student, if you're dyslexia, whatever you are, we've built in a time in the day where not necessarily the instruction stops down, but the enrichment and intervention time moves in, and we'll talk about that. I have a little schedule, and we'll talk more. Yeah, I think on that one. So with this, when we get the results, it's not Old Union gets the results and says this child's in, this child's out. It is a district screening process, and it's done at Central Admin. In fact, today, a lot of the new students, the files, they're meeting today where they go through and the committee looks at all the scores and works with placement. So if you do have questions on Quest, Ms. Mills is the Quest teacher, or you can contact us in the office, and more than happy to help answer questions on that. This is the schedule. I know it's probably a little blurry, but I just kind of wanted to show you what the day looks like. The blue blocks here, it says when. And this is, last year we called it I-time or intervention block. It's now, we've renamed it to What I Need. And we've had it, this will be year 3 in K through 2nd. Last year it was new in 3rd grade, but they kind of struggled with it on the schedule because there was still the revolving door. 4th grade, it's new this year, but really, essentially what this is there were teachers in the past that said, I start my instruction at 8, and then at 8:20 I have 2 kids that go to speech for 30 minutes. Then they're back in the classroom, then I'm teaching for 20 minutes, and then 8 of my kids have to go to GT for 2 hours. Then they're gone for 2 hours. They're still having to teach. Those kids will come back, and then you have one student that is dyslexic that needs to go to language science. So that revolving door was really tough. There were kids missing science. They were missing math. They were missing different times of the day. So what we've done here is instruction will go, the what I need time would be if you are GT, if you are speech, that's when those kids will go receive that intervention, that enrichment. The kids that aren't receiving something that day, during the class, the teachers are pulling groups based on what is needed. They might have a group of kids working on comprehension. It might be working on math facts. While the teacher's working with those kids, the other kids are doing different enrichment activities. So it's a lot of them have developed these tubs, we call them think tanks. And with that, they're put with a partner, and they're reading a problem, and then they're solving it. And it's something that's been taught, and they're just kind of going through and redoing it. The kids, if you talk with kids about the intervention time or win time, I think you're going to hear positive feedback. The kids seem to really enjoy it, whether they're leaving the classroom or they're staying in and working on activities. So, and there are a few. My son is one of those that is a double dipper, I guess we call, that is in 2 different programs. And based on that, sometimes I think we probably have 4 kids in the building where their intervention or enrichment doesn't 100% fit in this time. So if that's the case, there might be 15 minutes or 20 minutes a day that those few kids, they might be missing a different instruction during the time. So that's kind of what we built in. So you can see they have their instruction, their 55 minutes of encore time, this hour time of the intervention block, and then lunch recess, and then besides that, the rest of the day instruction. So if a kid needs more math, that win time, they will get that. If they need more reading or writing, they'll get it at that time. Or if we need to extend them further, that will be a time for them to get that. I think that concludes my part. Any questions on the slides that we presented here? Okay, I am going to turn it over to Jessica. Do you want the lanyard? Do you want the swivel?
My first appearance on national TV. Okay. Hi. Welcome. One quick announcement before I actually start the kind of meat of the presentation. We are having Spirit Shop. Maybe you saw it as you came in the building. Set up in front of the cafeteria, and that's open probably till 11. Anybody know the exact time? And then they'll also be there tonight during curriculum night. So feel free to buy your dragon spirit wear out there. Okay, as John said, I'm Jessica Heinz. I'm lucky enough to be part of this wonderful organization at school and also through the PTO. And I just wanted to introduce our executive board to you. I think everybody but 2 are here. Heather Engelhardt, who's not here, is in charge of operations. She also does the community partner relations and the Dining for Dragons, which you'll hear a little bit about. Carrie Ruck is also the other one that's not here. She's at the Eubanks meeting. She does our secretarial responsibilities. Kelly Walters, treasurer. If you need any reimbursement checks, she would be the person to go to, and also helps keep us honest with everything that we're bringing in and sending out. VP of Volunteers, Abby Waterstreet. She's in charge of all the volunteers, so should you want to help out at Old Union, she would be the person to talk to, and she can give you some information on where we need help, where you could utilize your talents, things like that. Stacy Driscoll, wave. She's in charge of our events. She's the one that's doing family picnic and some other things. Are you going to talk today? Okay. And then Delia Schneider, VP of Fundraising. You'll hear a lot from Delia. She's brought a lot of really great ideas and contributions financially and expertise to our campus, and we're so grateful to have her. Her sidekick is Teresa Rhodes. She also will be helping with fundraising, specifically in charge of Dragon Dash and our fundraiser fun night called Oh What a Night, which you'll hear a little bit about as well. Susan Smith, she's over here. She does our programs. So we are lucky enough to have a budget for programs as well that we do High Tech, High Touch, which is a push-in program from a company that comes in and works directly with the students on kind of science activities. And then we do a partnership with Anti-Bullying Campaign that the kids can come into the library or gym, I guess, and learn through a fun program about ways to not be bullied and how to stand up to bullies, and other programs as well. And then Heather Gillette in the back in the green is responsible for our disbursements, and she helped fund the swivel, or at least get the contributions to that. And disbursements is a way, she'll talk about it a little bit later, but it's a way that we can take input from you as parents and donations and then figure out what, with the staff, what we want to help fund through the school. Okay, so you want to go to the next slide. So in a nutshell, that's our board. We always welcome participation from parents. If there's maybe not a role specifically on the board, but something that you're interested in learning about or wanting to do, whether you have 5 minutes or you have an hour, we welcome your participation. So I'm not really going to go over kind of what we do because I think that's going to be covered in the next couple slides. But our main goal in PTO is to be the gap that bridge between Old Union and the parents and really partner with the community to make sure that our children have what they need at this campus, whether that be programs, whether that be supplies, whether that be relationships, just to be part of the community. And again, we're blessed to be part of the Old Union family because we really do work very closely with the staff and administrators to make sure that that happens. Okay, so plug for PTO, we would appreciate your support. If you go to OUESPTO.com, you can register to become an official member of PTO. With that, you get a couple goodies. You get a Amy Beanland designed t-shirt, which for those of you new may not know that that's a really big deal around here. Amy does all the campus for CISD, all the logos and spirit wear and everything else you see that's got cute designs. It's pretty much Amy. So you're getting that. And then it helps pay a little bit of operation costs for us to maintain our PTO. And there's a place for you to sign up for volunteer opportunities online, class parties. What am I missing? Directory. Oh, yeah, the big thing. You get the directory, which has all the names of the students who, once you become part of PTO, if you want to do birthday parties, things like that, you'll get a book that has all the information with the phone numbers, email addresses, personal addresses, because you're not allowed on a campus to send invitations for birthday parties through the school. So it has to be done outside of campus. Okay. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Delia, who's going to talk a little bit about some of our fundraising campaign and the ways that we, again, help contribute to the school.
Hello, everyone. I think Jessica's... Okay. Hello, everyone. I think Jessica and Mr. Fike have both touched upon the reasons why we fundraise. Not only do we support and create or establish a series of programs designed to raise funds so that we can actually support the programs that are complementary to our kids' education and help close the funding gap. What I'm going to do is take you to a really high level of what are those fundraising programs that we're offering in the 2015-2016 year. First and foremost, Dragon Dash. How many of you are familiar with Dragon Dash? I see a lot of new faces. For those of you who are new, this is a fitness fundraiser that was designed by Camp Gladiator based on they have a youth summer camp called Camp Victory, which is a blast and includes a series of obstacle courses in fitness that the kids will follow, to help promote a healthy lifestyle within the community. So it's broken into a series of sponsorship. We kick off Pep Rally, October 1st, sponsorships are already open. You will see some forms attached to the Constant Contact newsletter every Sunday. You'll probably see some flyers coming home. If you're interested in signing up today, I also have some flyers here. Whether you have a business that you want to promote or whether you want to promote it as a family, please let us know to get those yard signs. That's part of the sponsorship. Then we kick off into the student pledges. October 2nd to the 20th, our students will ask family, friends, and neighbors to support them as they will run the scores. Okay, this is one of our biggest fundraisers for the year. Very successful so far, but beyond that, the kids love it, and the results in their minds as to how important it is to adopt some level of fitness in their life have been, we have received great feedback so far. Okay. We will kick off fun nights at the family picnic, and I'm going to do another interjection here on the family picnic. Don't forget, if you need to buy your tickets, Stacy Driscoll has them. So before you leave, just make sure you buy them because we will not be selling tickets at the family picnic itself. Okay, so fun nights are grade level parties. We used to know them as the grade level parties. This year they're going to be theme parties. We're not going outside of the school. They're going to be very unique experiences. I believe Kinder is doing Polar Express. Second is doing Holiday Fun. There's a series of dates. Those will also be published in Constant Contact. You can purchase them online at the moment they're kicked off at the family picnic. It's a great way for the kids to interact with their classmates, their teachers, get to know new people within their grade level. At the family picnic, we will also kick off the raffle for Principal of the Day at the family picnic. For those of you who are not familiar with it, you get raffle tickets, and whoever wins gets to choose not only to be principal, but who are going to be their sidekicks. So, counselor and assistant principal. Kids Rule the School, I believe, is December 18th. So it's a great opportunity to, be in the shoes of Mr. Fike and our administration for a day. It's a really, really fun program. Online auction kicks off October 18th to the 25th. That is priceless items across the board, unique experiences, whether it's naming the library, the cafeteria, a hallway, buying wish list items for your t-shirts. There's so many items that sell out really fast, so be on the lookout for it and make sure you don't miss out. This also includes being your teacher for the day. So, and those, by the way, if you're new to the school, buy them quickly because they, for the most part, sell out within the first day. Oh, what a night. We launched last year. We brought it back after 6-7 years hiatus. We brought it back, our big fundraising event in the winter-spring time frame. It was a great success. People loved the idea of being able to meet other parents within the community. I think you get used to the fact that you only meet the people that your kids do sports with or maybe your classmates, but this actually expands your opportunity to actually meet other people within the community. We had a silent auction, we had great entertainment, and we plan to do the same this year with the addition of a few things, including a poker tournament and live auctions. And we have secured Dan Quinn as live entertainment. As a matter of fact, if anybody wants to go see what Dan Quinn can do for us, he's playing at Central Market on September 22nd. Okay. Also within fundraising is the Spirit Shop. So the tables, all the dragon ware that you see in the entrance is actually part of the fundraising group. In my humble opinion, they have the best of anything in South Lake. Really great options to choose from. They will be open during a special events and home game Friday. So they will be also open tonight during curriculum night. We mentioned Heather Engelhardt is not here, so I'll cover this for her. We have community partners. So in the website, in the PTO website, you'll find sign-ups for Kroger. So if you shop Kroger, you have rewards that can actually go towards Old Union. This raises, as silly as it sounds, about $1,500 for the school any given year. Same thing for TomTom. Amazon Smile, for those of you who love to shop Amazon, 0.5% of qualified purchases come back to the school. We need to promote that more. It's so easy to just order it, and it takes about 3 seconds to set up. And then we have the blue bin, for those who you've seen on the back of the school by the art room. If you have clothing and backpacks, stuffed toys that you want to give away, you just put them in the bin. We get 12 cents per pound by recycling materials from World Project. Okay. We also mentioned OUES Dining for Dragons. We promote our sponsoring restaurants, and they will give a percentage back to the school. So, for instance, tonight we have Pie 5 after curriculum night. So it's 5 to 8 o'clock. You bring the flyer that came in constant contact. I actually believe the flyer was sent home yesterday, the yellow flyer, right? So, you bring that and you know that 20% is going to go back to the school. Unlike that, we'll have one every month, and we usually time it around special events, whether it's curriculum night or Veterans Day or homecoming. There's always something around it so that that you have enough time to get home and cook dinner. And new this year are social mixers. So we'll start with, I shouldn't say we start with a women's mixer, but that's not close yet. Let me talk about that first and then go back up. We're trying to do a mixer where moms can get to know each other. That will likely be at Taste Buds Kitchen, so we can learn to make multiple weeknight meals and get to know other moms. We will confirm the date and the pricing very soon. In the other side, we also have a dad social mixer, September 26th. It actually takes place at the Walters home. It is being run by Rusted Truck Ranch Barbecue, and it is a.
It's one of our parents, and he does this for corporate parties and events, and he offered his time and his services. So it'll be kind of a cooking class. The dads that come are going to learn how to cook a variety of different barbecues. And then also a takeaway, he'll have, I think, a booklet and then some rubs and other stuff. So it's just
some barbecue there to taste as well as a selection of beers there. So if you want tickets, those of you dads that are here or those of you moms that are here that have already decided your husbands are going, let me know. I can totally take your money for that.
Beyond that, we welcome any feedback that you may have about the fundraisers and how we can actually improve, what we bring to Old Union. Any questions? All right, then I'm going to hand it over to Heather Gillette, who will tell you how we actually spend it.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so disbursements, what do we do with all of this money and all the different ways we do it? One of the things I think is beautiful about Old Union and makes me so happy to be here is how everyone works together. Teachers, parents, you're always welcome to come in and your suggestions are taken seriously. And I think when you make every single part of a place inside and out, parents, teachers, kids, valid, that makes a beautiful, beautiful environment for everyone. And so we're able to obtain these amazing scores that we have and these amazing rankings in the state, and we're able to do it in a really fun environment where everyone's happy and the children come skipping home, not dragging a backpack, right? And so how do we do that? I mean, we all know everybody's suing the state this year, all that, like half the schools are. How are we doing it? Well, we as parents are actually working with the teachers and helping to fund a lot of what's going on within our school so that we can bridge that gap. Will it get fixed one day? I don't know. I don't have time to stress about that. I can just do what I can do now, and that's why Delia and Teresa and everyone works so hard to bring money in so that we get to go and spend it on ways that are valid for our children. So there's a lot of things that we do. We did playground equipment. We've upgraded the patio. There was an emergency repair when the awning over the playground snapped, and that fell on us parents. There was not funding in the school budget to fix that repair, so we had to do that. First in math, reflex math, a lot of the computer programs that come home and that they do at school that really help enforce those math facts and spelling and fluency is paid for by us every year through our fundraising efforts. iPad carts, in fact, we are, I think, the first elementary school. We're the only one that we have one for every grade level. Now, we have been pecking away at iPad carts for like 4 years trying to get one for every level, and Delia and Teresa were like, enough of this, and they threw back into What a Night and increased their efforts, and I was actually able to get our final iPad cart and get some for the special classes and Quest and the music room and Care and other places around the campus where they have specific apps that they need for what they're learning. On top of that, before we had taken all the teachers through, so continuing education, we've taken all the teachers through Columbia University to help reading fluency, and they come back every year and teach the other teachers what they've learned. And so we finally got the whole campus through that. And so now we're focusing on technology, and that's been the really big push. That's where the world is headed, whether we like it or not. Whether we can operate our phones or not, our children can. In fact, my third grader is better at PowerPoint than I am at this point. It's amazing what they do with it. So there's actually a technology conference in Texas, so we could actually afford to send more teachers to it, and they come back and teach it. And so you see, kindergartners working like a publishing app, and you see fourth graders taking their math lines and, drawing them out, and then having, they can draw a slit on the page, and it starts talking, and the child's talking through the slit on the page, explaining what the line graph means, and just things that make their life so much fun. And then they publish it to iBooks. So truly we are, and the teachers are investing in trying to make all of that come together in a way that's valid for the children in the school, and keeping it really fun, and just getting them up to par with where the world is going, when maybe we can't get the state of Texas to give us the curriculum to where the world is. We in Old Union have a say in that. We've even had parents come in and they wanted more science, so we purchased science carts that brought in how to do solar energy and all those concepts, just to kind of prime their brains in case they want to have a technological career later in life, or they want to be inventors. We want to have them have that fluidity here at a young age before it gets intimidating, so that it won't ever be intimidating. And so it's amazing what we do here. One thing I want to say, and we do purchase all this stuff, but and you guys can, if there's a big idea you have or something that you think can happen, you can do a request to me, and I'll sit with the committee, and it's a group of teachers and parents, and we get together, we discuss how we can make it work, if we have the funds. We have to say no every year. A lot of times we'll table to the spring, try and get it in. Sometimes we just can't do it, but we always try to get everything in. If you're doing a request, think about how can I actualize that? Okay, we want to do these science carts. Here's how much they cost. Let me ask these grade level teachers, are they comfortable using these carts? Yes, they are. And then you request it. And then if you have a process, it's a lot easier for us to visualize that and actualize it on the campus for what you want to do. Another thing is, this is just, feel at home in Old Union. Look around. If you see something that needs something, feel empowered to suggest, hey, let's work on that. Or we have a mom who is sitting in this room right now who felt that the playground was not looking so great. And so she said to, Heather, hey, can you, at your next board meeting, see what Mr. Fike thinks about painting the playground? And she's like, I'm surprised you never thought of that in all your years. And I'm like, I never thought of it. And it's brilliant. Let's get it done. And we didn't even run it through disbursements. We just bought some paint. Well, we made sure that Mr. Fike was okay with us doing that first. And then we bought some paint, and we put some anti-skid in there, and we went out and we painted the playground and got the mat back up. And it's beautiful. And I had another mother. It's Julie Haley, by the way. Right over there. She's lovely. So anyway, I had another mother approach me, and she's not wanting to do the gardens more. And so she's actually working with the science teacher, thinking about a fundraiser. We had the Eagle Scouts come and build up the beds, but she's like, I want to take it further. I want to have grave level beds, and maybe I'll, so she's thinking it through. And I just had this conversation yesterday, so I don't know where it's going, but she's like, maybe we can do a spring unveiling. Let me see what I can do. And it's just a mom that wants to do something, and she did speak with Mr. Fike. He's on board, and we're working on it. And so just always feel like that in the school. The school is amazing because we all work together to make it amazing. We have amazing teachers, we have amazing administrators, we have amazing children, and they have parents behind them that want to help everybody get to where they want to go. So that's kind of disbursements in a nutshell. While I have your attention, however, I wanted to bring up yearbook. So we have so much cool stuff going on here that we want to remember it all. And so we have the Mamarazzis. It was coined by some children that are now in 6th grade. And we just take pictures and put them together. And I have Christine Kim, who is a graphic designer with 3 children. She had a kindergartner last year, and asked, can she help on the yearbook? And we said, oh, that's so cute. She has 3 kids and the oldest one's in kindergarten. Okay. But then she came to the next meeting and said, no, I really want to help. And I'm like, okay, you're in. And so she helps design all that. We have Julie Haley, who can block print freehand better than a computer, and is so color coordinated and tasteful with themes coming on. And then we have 2 other ladies. And so we're designing it all. We just need pictures. And so we just did uploads from cell phones. We tested. It looks great. It's high def on the. It's not. I mean, they're not as big as if you take a nice picture, but they're beautiful and they're what we need for the yearbook too. So if you wanted to download the app, I left something back there by the sign-in sheets, and you could actually upload straight from your phone, and/or there's a way with the camera. And I think, did I miss anything? I think that's good. Anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Anybody next?
Yes, I do. It's funny, it's not showing up on my screen. So.
Oh, it's on. It's up. Although it's, can you scroll up? Can you just move the button, the arrow button up, maybe? No? What do you want to do?
Duplicate. There we go. Now I can see. You want to change sizing, or you want me to kind of?
So basically, I'll just, while they're figuring all this out, I'll just quickly tell you. You've heard everything that we do. Now, all of this happens because the PTO pulls membership in at the beginning of the year and is able to continue to run throughout the year, provide parties for your children, the winter party, Valentine's, the end of the year, and just seamlessly, behind the scenes, keep the school running. We continuously pull in fundraising so that we can provide all of that extra that you've heard about. But in order for this to happen, we have to approve the budget. And last night I was going through records, treasury records that we have been apparently storing just so that the roaches have something to munch on. I don't know why. But they were ages old. The school's been open for 14 years now, and I was going through records that were from the first year that the school opened, and found letters that the principal sent home from that very first year talking about the PTO that year pulling in $9,000 and trying to put it back into technology for the school. So we've been doing this for years, and we fine-tuned it to the point that each year we go back to the budget and we tweak tiny little line items. So last year, special events didn't have quite enough. We're going to change that by just a couple $100s. This didn't bring in quite as much as we thought, so our projections are slightly lower. But for the most part, we don't have to make very many changes each year. We've got it down to a science. We've figured out how this works and what we need to do to make it continue to work. So all we really need is motions for the budget to pass so that we can keep going. All in favor?
Okay.
Anyone opposed? You guys are rock stars. Thank you.
Thank you. If you guys have any other questions or want to meet with us individually, please feel free, and welcome to all of you new families to Old Union. Thank you.
Perfect.